Well, howdy. Nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. And hokey smokes, I'm going to start off with a weird complaint right off the bat. I keep getting mosquito bites on my knees. Nowhere else on my body, just on my knees, and only when I'm in here. They don't come up on my upper body, I guess because I'm moving around, and they don't bite me through my shirt for whatever reason, and they don't get my lower legs because I've got pant legs and then support stockings, and I guess my upper legs because I wave my arms around when I'm doing stuff. They don't land there. The only place they've got is my knees, it would seem, and so I've got a mosquito bite on my knee. Again, I've had like 6 or 7 on my right knee, about 5 or so on my left knee. Nowhere else except back here, where also I'm not waving my hands around, back of my neck. Anyway, howdy. If my only problem is mosquitoes, then that's not bad, especially since I live in a part of the world where I don't have to worry about catching malaria or something like that from mosquito bites. Zika, I guess is the word, and like West Nile and all that maybe, but I'm luckily not in the right area for those. Anyway, I've got some stuff that I have written down. The first is a psychopathic type thing that, not that I'm urging anyone to do anything psychopathic, but it's something that's, the human body is a canvas. Pick up your knife and paint. So that's what I imagine some sort of not very nice person would think and do. Thumbs up. But past that, the only thing I've really got is a bunch of just stuff that I've been thinking of. So first I'm going to mention this. I have stopped obsessively taking my blood pressure, and I'm just periodically taking my blood pressure, because the last time I took my blood pressure, it was like 135 over 70 something. At which point, it's been nearly a week. My blood pressure is starting to regularly be down in that area. I'm not worried about it so much anymore. I mean, again, I'm going to check it daily, maybe twice a day if I'm not happy with it, but I'm not going to do it obsessively and worry about whether or not I should head off to the hospital, bracing my legs and feet so that I stay propped up in the proper position. After all, this fragile human body cannot adequately clothe the essence within, and it must be propped up from without. Or something like that. Or else I'm just trying to prop up my legs so I stay centered here without having to exert too much physical energy. But the things I have written down, one of them is just a mortality thing. My birth mother, which makes sense, but my birth mother lasted until she was age 74. She had cancer, had surgeries, and then a few years after that, she didn't feel right, 911 was called, and before they could get there, she slumped over and was gone. My genetic father lived to age 81. He painted, house painting a lot when he was younger, and got some damage and brain damage which affected his cognition because of fumes, but still lasted to age 81 before he had a psychotic break and then died in a nursing home. Well, at 61, maybe I'll be okay and last up until my 70s. But then I've talked a lot, probably obsessively, about how there are a lot of people that I have followed through media and such through the years that, well, this was the decade that they kicked off in. They didn't last till 70. So I got that staring me in the face. Yay, and I turned 62 this year. Thumbs up for that. What else do I have on here? Oh yes, this one has to do with creativity and the oh my god feeling when I realize something. There's a channel well, a couple channels, the way they do things, but there's two people that used to be with Machinima years back and had like a 10 years on the show there. And then when Machinima went away, they managed to transition into continuing to do their show just without Machinima now. And it's Ricky and Elliot, and they do weird news and tech news and all sorts of stuff where they just stand up and they read the news and talk about it and laugh and do stuff like that. I watched one of the latest ones, looked at Ricky's shirt. He's a tall, thin guy. Elliot's shorter. And I went, oh my god, because on the shirt it was a King of the Hill imprint. And King of the Hill, the abbreviation is K-O-T-H, Koth. And I immediately thought, so that's where I got the word in my setting, because there is a species of creature called Koth. So, not nearly as creative as I would hope to have been, but luckily it was just a name that got lifted that way. I probably saw it on Ricky's shirt, and then it bubbled up through my head, and oh, Koth, that's a good name. So, still though, it's good to know where these things come from, if you can ever figure them out. Yay. And this morning, I went out to go walkies. It was late. It was late, around 10 o'clock-ish. And I stepped outside to see what the day was like, and it was bright, harsh sun. So I immediately came back in here, grabbed my spray-on sunscreen, went over here, got some of the sunscreen lotion that I used to put on my face and the back of my neck and stuff, and then I went outside to go on walkies, and it was gray and overcast during the entire time. Now the sun still shines even through the clouds, and the UV rays get through there, so it helps, and I'm still glistening, so thumbs up on that. Yay. I'm gonna continue going out walkies. It's moderately warm, and there's a risk of rain through the whole day, and but it's not too warm, so that'll be good. I don't want to be stuck in here. I've been cocooning again, and after a very short walk yesterday morning, I spent most of the day in here. And then it was only in the evening when I finally got out and made a large, it's only 2, maybe 3 miles for the walkies, but I went out and I did it instead of not. So thumbs up for that. And what else do I have on my list? This is something I've been thinking about too, because I have written down as travelogue type stories, where I have, through my years, read so many series of books and series of stories where it was just travelogue type, where they had to go from point A to point B, come up with a reason. There was this one fellow who was a goofy, I don't know what his name was anymore, if I can remember, but he did an adaptation of the book Wishbringer by Zork way back when, in the early 80s, and did a lot of comedy books back in the 80s, but they had a lot of, generally the humor was like human beings being eaten alive by creatures, and so it was a very visceral, dark humor. But what was I thinking about looking over there? They had a series of books that, before I lost track of everything that he was doing, where there was the characters were trying to get from here over to here to warn the king that there was danger and demons, and so they just had to get from here to here. And so there are lots of travelogue type stories in that fashion. And then there's one, especially by Jack Vance, who did one called Kugel the Clever. And it's placed like in the unimaginable future when the sun is getting ready to just go out. And magic has been figured out. It's so unimaginable. There have been so many dynasties where civilizations would arise and then take off out into the great unknown, and then humanity left here would build back up again and rise up and out. And so there are so many of those so far into the future. But with Kugel the Clever, he ends up trying to steal something from a very powerful wizard who wants to get some things, implants Kugel with something to make sure that he's going to do what he's supposed to do. A creature, a symbiotic / parasitic creature, where if Kugel doesn't do what he's supposed to, it starts hurting him from the inside. So he has to do it. But he gets dragged halfway across the world, and he has to slowly try to make his way back, and it just travelogues him getting there. And then he gets sent away again, and then it's another 2 books or 3 books in total. But he finally gets back home for the final time, craftily defeats the person who sent him out, and then has their own life. But it's just straight travelogue stuff. Except, and there's another book called In Yana, The Touch of Undying, which is, I think it was done by Michael Bishop, a travelogue type story, kind of in the manner of the Kugel the Clever, because Kugel the Clever, as he traveled, he interacted with each new place that he came across. Unfortunately, because he is very short-sighted, narcissistic, uncaring, he leaves nothing but death, ruin, and wreckage behind him. In general, just by passing through and doing what he does, he undoes the social fabric, which leaves just chaos behind as he travels. Oftentimes, it's not just societal chaos, it's actual further destructive chaos in which hundreds, perhaps thousands of people die. And he leaves this trail of wreckage as he continues trying to just get back home. The book In Yana, The Touch of Undying, there's this one character who is trying to find the place Yana so that he can become immortal. And as he's traveling to get there, he keeps running across people who have been there, who were immortal. Except like Kugel, and it's not always his fault. What happens though, every place he goes as he travels, pretty much everyone dies. There's a method of travel where they use these creatures that run in cages on boats, and they're traveling along, something happens, they'll get loose, all these running creatures eat everyone on the ship except for the main character who manages to escape. Civilizations fall. Everything is just crushed as he's searching and traveling. He never does it. He's just, it wouldn't have happened if he hadn't been there. He didn't cause it, like when the things burst loose and ate everyone on the ship. It wasn't his fault. He just happened to be there on the ship. Now, would that thing have happened had he not been there? Hard to say. But finally getting to the end, it was just the death and destruction left behind, incredible. As in, not incredible wow, but incredible oh my god. So travelogue type stories don't have to have the death and destruction like these. Those were just examples. I had been thinking that things like in Karthkog, in my setting here, would be perfect for a travelogue type thing, because it's unexplored by the main characters that I speak of almost entirely. They live in and have expanded into maybe 1 or 2% of the main continent yet. So most of it is unexplored. They don't know what's down there. And when you go out traveling, you're going to find stuff. So I figure, hey, Tawathik, the settlement where they all get onto the ships from the West Adania Merchants Group and travel down here several thousand clicks down the coastline to the smaller settlement of Nagrat. If a ship is traveling down there and crash-a-rama, something happens and they end up just crashed, they can either lay down and stop living, or they can try to get home. No real chance of being rescued. Nobody knows where they They crashed. Nobody, the only thing they'll know is they never showed up. So they've got to try and, it's either lay down and stop living or make an effort to get home. And then traveloguing your way there. At a bare minimum of something thrown together quickly as I was out walking, that would be perfect for a travelogue type story. And there is a lot of stuff that's out there, especially where, I keep whistling, especially where the settlement of Nogrod is in the organic forest, which has the superpositioning where there's just too much there for there. And so occasionally more there is occasionally there. Because you can go into an abandoned stone fort that has been picked clean, searched, and examined for 10 years. And you might find a door in a room that has been searched extensively for 10 years. But it's like, oh, you go in there and there's actually a little indent, and you press it and the door swings open, and now the outfit there has suddenly doubled in size, and there's a whole lot more there to explore, because there's just so much there that all that there doesn't fit there. And so the organic forest has a lot of travelogue that you can go through. Thumbs up for that. And while it's entertaining to read about people who wander through areas and leave nothing but death and destruction behind them, this would not be a death and destruction kind of travelogue story. Yes, there would be possible death. It's unexplored by these people, and probably most of anybody at all. So there's going to be danger. But again, civilization and danger is relative. There are three main continents that I know of in this setting so far: Carthcog, Lanlua, and Stelden. The original race stock of the Dwelan, they live on Lanlua. And they've had a long time to be there and to civilize the place. They've only really explored and all such about 40% of the continent. Down in the continent of Stelden, the human types, the Goya, they've only been able to really explore about 20% of the continent, because it is like South America, and this is people that don't have a lot of anything to really go out there and explore safely. So you'll send out explorers, and maybe they come back, maybe they don't. And on Carthcog, of course, that small amount that has been explored, but on Lanlua, they consider it civilized. Sure, you could get eaten by something as you're going on one of the main roads between the two cities. There are many city-states, and there are roads that'll travel between them because the Dwelan value that. But sure, it passes through wild areas. You could have your stage knocked over, torn apart, and everyone inside eaten by forest creatures. Well, how many people do we lose from drunk drivers every year here just in the United States alone? And we consider this place civilized. They consider that place civilized too. You just have to understand the risks. Down in Stelden, all sorts of things like that. You know the risk. It's civilized. You don't go out walking through the swamps at night. You'll drown. It's civilized. You know the dangers. Over in Carthcog, in the Ogronic Woods, stuff like that, the Willow Forest, it's civilized. You just don't go into the wood at night. That's when the wolf spiders come out. As long as you stay out of the wood, when it's dark, you're fine. Go in there during the daylight, do what you want. Stay out of the darker areas. I mean, the wolf spiders have to sleep somewhere, and you'll be fine. It's civilized. Just don't go in there after dark, or the wolf spiders will eat you. Civilization and safety is relative. That's why, of the 4 characters that I have for the solo stuff that I've actually been doing, one of them being a Hob, one of the original inhabitants of the continent of Carthcog, he's shocked by the violence that happens down here in Nagrod. He's up from in the area around Tawathic, and Tawathic is civilized. So down here, when the first group of 4 people that they were going to go out adventuring and their fighter got dragged off into the woods and violently, painfully eaten alive, he was shocked and horrified by that. Tuathic is civilized. Not for us, but civilization and safety is relative. Do I have anything else over here? The one last thing I'm going to talk about real quick before I sign off, because I've been talking for 20 minutes, is just the way I like goofy little pictures of like animals and such. There's one that I like a lot that is a picture of a rat that is just eating a little rat-sized cake. And it says, "A godless beast enjoying his wretched meal." And I think those kind of things are great. There's a picture of a rabbit that was next to a large carrot, and the caption underneath was, "I am not charmed by this gluttonous fellow." And again, I like those things, not because I agree with them. In fact, when I look at the rabbit one, it's like, oh, but I am charmed by that gluttonous fellow. Someone give me some carrots so I can feed him more. So that's why I like that kind. Now the godless beast enjoying his wretched meal and other types that I've seen like that, they're not really godless, wretched beasts, but that it's like the same thing, showing pictures of a cute little kitten and then just going, "Wanted for war crimes." It's like, yeah, okay, I really enjoy that. That cute little kitten out there committing war atrocities. Yay. Again, don't know why I find them funny, but I do. So thumbs up for that. And of course, if you're a Patreon patron, thumbs up and thank you. It is appreciated to no end. Without your help, I would be a badly hurting monkey, and I don't like that. So thank you very, very much. Oof. Oh boy. And if you've left me a comment, I've tried to answer as many as I can, which is not as many as I would like. That happens, but I answer as many as I can with my nerve compression going on. I've finally gotten some appointments, hopefully for that. I need to double check on that. I think I did have an appointment, or there was an appointment that they had to double check on some things. So, oh boy, I need to get on top of that. What was I talking about that I brought that up? I can't remember. But anyway though, there are things I've got to do, and I'm going to get them done. And again, thank you all my Patreon patrons. Thank you everybody that has left me a comment. You're all beautiful, awesome, and wonderful people. Thumbs up. Past that, I am just going to edit, render, upload this. It is 12:55 p.m. So it's going to be late when this is all done and uploaded. It takes forever to upload. I can download sometimes at 45 megabits per second. But my upload speed is capped between 3.6 and 3.9 megabits up. Depends on what the service provides. $65 and that's what I get. Life is life. Hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done. That would be very cool. And hopefully I can get done some recording. Now, you don't beat yourself up if you can't get something done. And I promise not to beat myself up if I can't get something done for the channel. But I'm going to do my very best. And do your best, but don't feel bad and don't beat yourself up. I'll try not to beat myself up. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very, very good thing. I have always, my entire life, my eyebrows, they move almost without my trying to think about it. And then everything that I feel, I express through my face. If I'm sad, I can't help but look sad. If I'm mad, I'll look mad. If I'm happy, I look happy. I can't help it. My face shows what I feel. Yay. Anyway though, you take care. Talk to you later.